Alright, so as you can see, I took the bed off the 101 as well while I was trying to get this clutch apart. The bed is secured by 4 screws, and the stitch control length is right here, and that has a screw in it and it pops off, and when we reassemble it I'll make sure to show reassembling it. The 101 has an oil reservoir with a bunch of wicks, and so kind of like an industrial machine, you fill this tank with oil and then it is supposed to wick the oil out to the different oiling points as the machine operates. So that's pretty cool. This is but another note, this machine had that pin cushion stitched on it right here, and all the pins getting jammed into that pin cushion have completely scratched the finish here. So that happens to a lot of these machines. Everybody, you know, putting a pin cushion here was really convenient if you did a lot of sewing to just put your pins there, but every time you put a pin in, it scratched the thing. So this machine got used quite a bit given the damage on the finish here. But removing this clutch area here was a big project. I spent a couple days with it, heating it, oiling it, tapping on it because that outer piece just slides off. And the next thing I'm going to have to do is take a Dremel and sandpaper, and I'm just going to have to polish this shaft and the sliding cone piece of the clutch up on the inside and this outside so that I can oil it and get those to slide, because that piece was supposed to slide back and forth pretty easily to engage this end here is a cone clutch that engages inside the machine, so it's supposed to slide on here and engage this cone clutch by sliding in and out, but this whole thing was just jammed on there, and the hand wheel is only supposed to hold on with set screws, but it came off, and then while I was getting this apart, it got stuck again. So I'm gonna have to get this apart and polish, like I said, polish everything. This flat is the clutch spot inside the gear, because the gear sits on here. There's a roller clutch, and the roller goes against this flat to bind for the drive, and that roller wasn't functioning. That's why the machine didn't really drive in either direction very well. And this was incredibly filthy when I got it apart. So all this cleaning and polishing and bathing in oil until it gets a better fit. And then we'll have to get that all to fit back together. The good news is that thanks to the oiling system and the full enclosure on this 101, down through here looks very nice. And aside from one rogue pin that I found in here, it's in good shape. So I think that as soon as I finish polishing and grinding everything, this is going to go together pretty well. So that's the update on that, and now I'm going to get out my Dremel and spend a few more hours polishing it after I spent a few hours over a few days getting it apart. Okay, so thoroughly oiled this clutch gear, and every time you turn it, there's the regular part, and you can always feel it snap into the flat. There it is. So, should have paid attention. There's a spot here. I don't know if that works on the flat or not, but so the spring and roller are in there, the collar's in place. I'm going to apply, and I'm going to actually use tri-flow. All along this shaft. And I polished inside this piece too, and you see there's an oil hole in here. You're supposed to get this oil hole here lined up with that oil hole on the clutch shaft once in a while. But that's not, that's not a realistic expectation for people to manage normally. But anyhow, like, this was all full of goo, and I'm just gonna spin this and slide it around, make sure there's plenty of lubricant in there, and you'll see it's spinning freely, and then when we push in, it grips the cone into that seat. So that works. And then this drive gear is centered on the mounting hole for the motor, and that's the center this hole is the center of the shaft on the motor, so this gear is in the right spot there. If this cone was out of place, then it would push the gear off center, and it would not be lined up with our hole there anymore, and you wouldn't get good gear mesh. But just pushing in a little bit gets the machine to turn, so we're in good shape there. And then we got our hand wheel, and I've got it polished up so it slides on, and remember, it's got 2 set screws in it. So I'll put our set screws in it. And then there's according to the adjuster's manual, there are supposed to be several washers stacked up on the end, and they are shim washers that you can put in and take out. Because you see this threaded space on the back here, this nut is supposed to tighten to push that cone together, but it's not tightening enough. There's this single key washer left, which again I don't think is gonna maybe that is enough to get in there. Testing this out before I put the hand wheel on. Yeah, okay. Alright. And now I've foolishly... There. Got that nut stuck on there. Alright. Oh, that's what I gotta put on before I put a hand wheel on. Here, I gotta put this... this bracket on. And this too, this was all full of goo and impossible to get off of the machine. So I've polished the outside here. Oh, I forgot to polish inside here. I need to polish inside here before we put this back together. make sure we clean that and polish it. So I'll be back with some after some polishing is done on this. All right, this is our bobbin winder bracket in place, and it's got these 2 cheesehead screws. There. And our clutch is loose, and then we can push on it, and it goes. The hole in, there's a hole in this bobbin winder that matches up to the eventual hole in the clutch piece here. So when you oil this hole regularly, eventually the oil will work its way through to the clutch sleeve here. But, all right, now oh yeah, because the bobbin winder's in the way. Got to put the bobbin winder on before you put the hand wheel in, I think. Yeah, I don't think the hand wheel's going to go. Alright, well, so we keep finding the other parts we need to do before we get the hand wheel back on. Let me go dig up the parts for the bobbin winder and put the bobbin winder back on.